Am I the asshole for refusing to change someone's baby's diaper? My wife and I have been married 10 plus years and have a few kids. Sister-in-law and her husband had a baby 2 years ago. No major complaints, they just tend to ask for people to do stuff that I would think they'd do themselves. They'll come over our house, they live an hour away, and they'll ask ahead of time if we have their kids' favorite crackers on hand. Why they don't just pack the crackers, I don't know, they are well off, money not an issue. If one of them leaves the room, they'll ask one of us, my wife or kids, to be in charge of the baby even if the other parent is right there, just scrolling on their phone or something. But whenever I say something to my wife, she says I'm being too much. The other day, we're having a dinner at Mil's house when the baby had a poopy diaper. Sister-in-law looks at me and say in the sweetest voice, "Uncle, my name, can you change the diaper?" She frequently does this when we're there, but this was the first time I was asked. I answered, politely, "No, I'm sorry, I don't do that." "You don't do diapers?" "No, I don't do other people's kids' diapers if their mom or dad is around. I mean if I'm babysitting, sure thing, but yay if the parents are around I just feel like it's their job." Sister-in-law looks like she's ready to cry. Well, I feel selfish. I smiled to try and set her at ease, not trying to make you feel any way, just telling you a boundary is all. The table got really awkward as she got up and did the diaper. Afterwards my wife blamed me for making sister-in-law feel bad and said I could have just changed the diaper. Not trying to make anyone feel bad, but I've had 3 kids and I always took responsibility. I watched them, I packed for them, and I changed them. I'm not looking to be a secondary parent for this kid. Not the asshole. Your sister-in-law only felt bad because the obvious was pointed out to her. You said no when she asked you, then she pressed you further, trying to either guilt you into changing the diaper or make you look bad because you didn't want to change a poopy diaper. I think you handled that amazingly well. She sounds like she's not used to anyone saying no to her and setting boundaries. Putting on the tears and being selfish act is manipulation, and it sounds like that worked on your wife, not you. Nothing to feel bad about. She sounds like a wannabe princess. Not the asshole. The parents were there and capable of changing the diaper. That is their responsibility. Anyone else that does it is a kind gesture. I would set the exact same boundary. Not the asshole, but then why didn't your wife step in and offer to change the diaper? That's right, because she doesn't want to do it either. You have a massive wife problem. She needs to shut this down with her family, not encourage it. Not the asshole. Making sure the baby doesn't come to harm by, say, rolling off a couch is the responsibility of any adult who sees an issue. Basic hygiene and feeding needs are the problem of the parent. If someone volunteers, then well and good. Otherwise no, that is a fair boundary. I'm a parent, and no way would I expect someone else to change my kids' nappies when I'm right there. If they offer, that's a different story, but it's so tacky to ask. Am I the asshole for telling a friend exactly why my wife and I wouldn't go on a trip with her? My wife and I, both 32, have a friend named Anna, 33. Anna is so sweet, very funny, and can also be very naive. While this isn't always a bad thing, she is at times ignorant of how the world works, news, etc. Anna has family that owns a large vacation property in another country. She's long wanted to take a friend's trip there, and is finally planning on doing so. Multiple people have been invited, and this past weekend when she and I got coffee, my wife and I were invited. The problem is, homosexuality is criminalized in this country. In case you missed it, I am a woman married to a woman, and I would not feel safe traveling there. I would especially be worried about my wife. She has a very classic, butch look, whereas I am more feminine. I know a lot of times these laws will pertain more towards gay men, but still. We would not feel safe, and that's what matters. For what it's worth, my wife knew we were probably going to be invited and said, "Fuck no" to any idea of traveling there when I mentioned it. I didn't make a choice for the both of us by myself. I told Anna, "No, I'm sorry, but my wife and I would not be able to travel there." Well, she pressed why. I said, "Because we're gay. That country criminalizes gay people." She just said, "Oh," and kind of awkwardly changed the topic. Later though, I got a text. She said she felt I embarrassed her for not knowing, and while she didn't know, it's not like she's homophobic or anything, just that she wants to go on a trip there, and why did I have to be so blunt about it? I'm really frustrated, and also I feel bad. I'm not sure why. I guess I could have made an excuse, that airfare is pricey right now, or we had something else planned, but my wife is saying I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. Am I the asshole? Edit forgot to add, but I didn't include which country because I felt it was wrong. The government etc. makes these choices. I would feel bad putting the blame on a whole country that certainly has an LGBTQ population, hidden or not. It's in the Middle East, and that's all I'll say. Not the asshole. Let me get this straight. Your rich friend can walk around with the privilege of not thinking about the bad things about the world. And when things Not directly about her, or brought up in the context of your safety, she gets mad at you? Rolling on the floor laughing. You need to rethink this friendship at 33. She is choosing to be this ignorant. Not the asshole. People sometimes conflate giving them an answer or no with being blunt. It's not. You answered her, you told her no, and then you told her why. The why had nothing to do with her and everything to do with you and your wife's, supposedly her friends, safety and the country in question being anti-gay. Okay, she didn't know, well, now she does. Because you told her. Honestly, she's being a kind of shitty about it. No one called her homophobic. She's making it weird because she's internalizing the no and the why. This is a dumb thing for her to get upset over. Why not be like, oh shit, thanks for telling me, I didn't know that. I don't want y'all to be in danger. She's taking it offensively, which is a bad look. Bad vibe. Not the asshole. Your friend will have to sit with her discomfort about this instead of having you mop up her feelings. Maybe a vacation at her family's vast estate will cheer her up. Don't give her what she wants because if you do she'll never learn. Not the asshole. I'm not sure why she is upset about you being blunt when you simply answered her question. I wonder if her embarrassment is coming from some significant cognitive dissonance. Not the asshole. If your friend is so uncomfortable with hearing a direct answer about this, I sincerely have no idea what non-blunt way she expected you to communicate this. If you're good enough friends you can ask her, but really you have zero to feel bad about. You didn't judge her or call her out at all. You answered the question by only saying something about yourself and your own reasons. Sure, she probably now feels guilty for inviting you and not knowing. Or guilty that she is vacationing there, a place you aren't welcome. Let her sit with the discomfort and guilt. That's not on you, it's for her to handle, and hopefully grow from this experience. Not the asshole. She felt dumb and is blaming you for making her feel that way. It was her own ignorance and lack of consideration that was the problem. I absolutely wouldn't go in your situation and would have said the exact same verbatim. It was short and sweet. Am I the asshole for refusing to do a DNA test to confirm if my father is the father of another child? For context, about 5 years ago, my mom came across a message from a woman claiming my father is the baby daddy to her 3-year-old daughter, and compared photos of her and I when I was around that age to show that we looked alike, however dismissed getting any DNA tests after my father got incarcerated. Now I, 17F, and my mom recently came across a message tonight from the same woman again claiming my father is the baby daddy to her now 8-year-old daughter. Now that her daughter is older, she has started questioning who her real father is. Now, this is the part that has me a bit skeptical. Her daughter has the same skin color as my dad, however every other feature is completely different. My dad has hazel almost vibrant green eyes, while the mother has bright blue. My mother AL significant other has bright blue eyes, and my mother and father's genes resulted in central heterochromia in my eyes. This child has pitch black eyes. Usually brown eyes are the dominant gene to blue eyes, so how did pitch black eyes suddenly appear on my dad's side of the family? Their eyes are all very vibrant green or gray. Not only do the eyes get me, but the nose shape on both my dad and eyes are the same. However, this woman's daughter has a completely different nose shape. This lady is basically convinced that my father is her baby daddy, and even said tonight if my father wasn't willing to give a DNA test, asked if I would be willing to give a DNA test, yet has not even told us her name. I'm torn in between a decision, but my father is actively in my life and I know that if he knew he had another child, he would also try to be in this child's life. Only thing is, she lives 2 states away. Getting a DNA test done would do what? Get child support. She's financially stable with a husband and 2 other kids, so why now is she reaching out after 5 years? Reassurance is real and I 100% support it, however in that big time gap, what was the mother telling her daughter? With all of that in consideration, I told her I wouldn't be comfortable giving a DNA sample. She told my mother that we're ruining her daughter's life by not allowing her to know her real father. However, I just can't believe her, as if this was my father's child. Why didn't she reach out sooner? I'm not sure anymore. I just feel like an ass, but my gut just tells me something fishy is going on. So, am I the asshole? Update. Okay, so wow, didn't think this was going to get as much attention as it did, but thank you guys for your personal opinions and also informing me of my misuse of information. I've talked to my dad. He is aware that this woman has reached out again. My mom told him this morning and showed screenshots of the woman's messages. He's going to get the DNA test done and out of the way, but is also a bit skeptical because she hasn't perused anything legally for the past 5 years. I've spoken to some of my personal friends and family about what I should be doing, and it just hurts me that if this is my half-sister, I haven't been allowed to be involved with her. I'm going to talk more with my dad when he gets off work, but the next update will be the DNA test results. I'm just not sure how long that will take. Just wanted to say you are significantly misinformed about how genes work, so don't base your opinion on how this child looks at all. Main thing, you're a child. Block this woman. I'm sorry about her child, but you don't need to be involved in this at all regardless of what your thoughts are on the matter. Info. Is your dad still in prison? No matter where he is, does he know any of this? Not the asshole. I am sorry you have been put in this position. You are under no legal or ethical obligation to give anyone your DNA, unless you are required by law. This is not your business and I would not feel bad whatsoever in your shoes. That woman should know better. She can petition a judge to get your father's DNA if she is convinced her child is his. Does your dad have anything to say about this? There is no justifying a grown woman badgering a minor for a DNA test to prove paternity for her child. Zero excuse. She is at fault completely. NTA. First of all, this is not your child and if I were you I'd stay out of it. Second of all, giving a DNA sample to some rondo whose name you don't even know seems like a bad idea. If she wants to test paternity, she should take it up with the potential parent. Not the asshole. But let's start with some facts. You can't tell genes by looks at all. And it isn't your business what the other woman's motivation is or why she delayed reaching out. People have a variety of reasons to weigh up whether it is right to establish paternity, particularly if your father is incarcerated and may not be a wholly positive person to have in her child's life. She also doesn't have to tell you her whole life story. However, if she wants to know the paternity of her child, that's enough reason to ask. But you are perfectly within your rights to say no. It is your body and your right to not consent to a blood or saliva test. She will have to reach out to your dad, or through appropriate systems to apply for child support, if that's the line she wants to take. Just putting it out there that my partner and his sister look nothing alike, despite having the same mom and dad. The kid having different features isn't enough to rule out your relations. Am I the asshole for not forgiving father after he stole my inheritance? It's 1999, my mom passes away from liver cancer. I'm 25 years old, single child, wet behind the ears and gullible. 80% of my mother's estate at the time, about $16,000, but we're not in the USA, pays out to me. My dad says due to my mom's deteriorating mental health they never had time to change her will. The money should have come to him. Can I pay it over to him? I agree, because one is supposed to trust her parents. Fast forward about 5 years and one brief failed marriage later, he finds himself a nice Russian bride. The dynamic changes and he badmouths my late mom at every barbecue etc., and his new wife is the best thing ever. I move cities, get married, start a family of my own. We chat on the phone once a week or every 2 weeks but don't see each other for years, 8 years to be exact. Him and the Russian bride come and visit once, borrow my truck to go to a big national park. I gave it to them with a full tank of diesel, I got it back empty, with the light on. In 2023 he sold his house and moved to Russia with the bride. I'm not sure if he invested the house's money locally or if he moved it to Russia. I suspect the latter so that the bride has easy access to it when he falls over. My, now late wife, falls ill and passes away last year. I send a message to everyone after she passed away with all the funeral details and what happened. My dad's response, oh now that's bad news. He doesn't bother flying in for the funeral service or anything. He messages me a few weeks later, asking if she was cremated or buried. Like W.T.F. I speak to his sister, a highly educated PhD with many law degrees etc. We speak about my mom's passing and the similarities to what happened to me. I mentioned the inheritance. She freaks out. She, being legally qualified, helped my mom with the will in the hospital before she passed away as she knew my dad would be a douche about the money. I confront my dad about the money, 25 years after he swindled me out of it. He denies it, then tries to claim the amount was 10% of what it truly was, and with every lie I bring out what I remember to be the truth, along with evidence. Eventually I tell him never to contact me again, and stop answering his messages. He tries to message me once a while, but it's more and more random. Turns out that it looks like he has early stages of dementia. A few months later some distant family contacts us, asking why I have no contact with my father, because he reached out to them to talk, and he seems lonely. We suspect the bride leaves him alone at home because with dementia he is a handful and she doesn't want to deal with him. We tell them what happened and they understand. As time passes, his sister is now asking me to forgive him for what he did and to free my soul from these shackles, as she calls it. My reply was from the series Billions. Hate is nature's most perfect energy source. It's endlessly renewable. I have no urge to forgive him, but am I the asshole for not forgiving? Not the asshole. He took advantage of you in a very vulnerable state. You don't have to forgive and forget that. Especially since he has zero remorse. Anyone who can't understand that because he's family, I'd ask if they would be okay with someone stealing $16,000 from them. Not the asshole. You are not shackled by unforgiveness but simply holding someone accountable. Your boundaries are valid. Forgiveness works when someone acknowledges their wrongs. Your father has not. He exploited your trust at your most vulnerable moment. Your aunt calls it shackles, I call it damn consequences. Would forgiving him bring you peace or just comfort others? He didn't just steal your inheritance, he stole your trust. And then torched your mom's memory at every barbecue like it was charcoal. 6. You're not bitter, you're healed enough to recognize betrayal. Forgiveness is earned, not owed. Not the asshole. The money is gone. You're never getting it back. Your father is a user. He's not going to change. Whether you forgive him is 100% up to you, not him, not your aunt. If you want to have a relationship with your dad in spite of who he is and what he has taken from you is entirely your decision, and you should not let anyone make you feel bad one way or another. Not the asshole. You seem to have made peace with your decision, which, to be clear, I would also have done, and I suspect any contact you make now could lead Russian bride to dump him on your doorstep. Not the asshole. Also, I really dislike this forgiveness is the only way to heal rhetoric. Because no, it's not. Moving on and letting go of anger is healing. You and only you, the hurt party, gets to decide if the one who wronged you deserves forgiveness. You don't sound like you're stewing away with seething anger and hatred. You're just done, and that is okay. You are allowed to not forgive someone who wronged you, especially when they have done nothing to earn it. You have your own life away from him. Keep living it and making your own choices. Living your best life and being happy is what is important. Not forgiving someone who stole from you, then bailed on you.